Okay, the stream should be live.
Okay.
Alright, so we're back at the King Air after making a stop to switch out some Smart Copilot stuff and add a little bit of fuel to the plane. We're back on our way to Dead Horse. We are direct U-Vol, climbing up to 9,000. And we've got 79.1 miles to U-Vol.
Okay, gotta run the computer going. I'll just TV refreshed here.
Alright, we are level at 9,000.
That didn't take long. Okay, now we got it on the TV too.
Alright, I think we're up and running.
So,
But yeah, this Smart Copilot file seems to be a whole lot better.
yeah. Yeah. It's the plane itself is jerking a bit through the air, but at least the instruments and everything are all fairly smooth. And
I wonder if I do that enhanced slave smoothness thing, if it will get any better.
oh, okay. Please, sir, will you enhance my smoothness? Please, sir, will you enhance my smoothness?
Alright, well I selected that, so we'll see if it changes anything.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Night and day. What a difference.
Alright, gotta pull the power back a little bit so we don't overspeed here. So everything's good on your end?
Yeah. Yeah, now front, like, outside the plane, there's a little bit of the, like the engine noise surges a bit, but inside it's fine and it's nice and smooth. You know, whereas before it was like, go 1 foot forward, 2 feet back, 1 foot forward, 2 feet back. 1 foot forward, 1 foot forward, 2 feet back. So that definitely is the setting to use.
All right. Well, we'll remember that for future reference.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to make us some kind of like PDF Smart Copilot checklist.
Yeah.
Alrighty, we are 58.5 miles now before we make Uval. Our top of descent is just slightly before that. According to the GTN Uval, we want to be at 9,200. That's not right.
We want to be 2,900.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to change that here. And that puts us right at about top of descent. And our vertical speed required right now is 440 feet, so we're going to go ahead and set that up. Alright, autopilot set up for a 700 foot a minute descent down to 2,900. And that should put us at the altitude a little bit before Uval, so we're not still trying to lose altitude when we start that turn.
Yeah. Well, we're full IFR as of an hour ago, is the last weather I've got. 090 at 12, 10 miles visibility, but overcast at 800, 3011 on the altimeter.
Yeah, I was going to say, the weather looks like it's moving in here.
Both altimeters are at 3011.
We are at 3011, I concur.
How do you want the VOR on my HSI setup to the dead horse or to the approach, or which?
The number 2, what do you think? I think it'd probably be better at the dead horse one, right?
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll set it up to that, and then once we intercept the ILS, I can always click it over from standby as a back.
What's the VOR for dead horse again? 115?
113.9er. And then 109.3 I'm putting in the standby for the ILS. And then I'll set the course to 144, which will be our first point there on the set 2.
Set the heading bug to 1442.
Well, okay, so are we on nav right now?
We're on nav right now, so you can move the heading bug to our first turn.
But now, what the nav is doing, it's going to take us right to our point. So are you going to go and do a procedure turn there, or do you want to come in on one side of it and just do a 180?
Well, I'll probably come in on one side of it, so let's go to like 080 for now, and I'll switch to heading mode.
Okay, so 060 should be lots. I'm using the GoFlight, the more GA style autopilot panel, and it's an older one. So when you turn the encoders, it keeps turning after you stop if you turn them too fast.
Oh, yeah. Alright, we're on heading mode.
Okay, so our needle on this side is set up for that first point, and so it will be it'll be pointing to the VOR, but we're actually tracking on the outbound. So
Okay.
but I think that should work fine.
Pull the power way back so we can start slowing down. This plane has a hard time slowing down.
Yeah, even without the engines running, as I found out at the last landing. Should you go to your conditions lever? Do you fly in cruise with them less than, like, more at low idle?
I don't think so.
So you fly with them.
As far as I know, you leave them up through the whole flight. Low idle's only used for on the ground.
Right, okay.
So we've got about 15 miles, I guess, because we want to stay at, what, 16 DME from the Dead Horse VOR?
Yeah, like for that arc. So what will be coming in is probably about 18 now, and to make the turn.
Okay. And what I did on the GTN is I went direct to that Archon, which is the next one after UVol. So then we could hit nav mode if we wanted to see if the GTN would fly it.
Oh, okay.
Now you're descending throughout that whole arc, right?
Well, no, it's showing basically 2300 for the whole thing.
Alright, then I'm just going to go ahead and continue down to 2300. Yeah, you get into these clouds without Vulcan, and like I'm dropping into the low 30s, high 20s, lower 20s.
I'm still getting about 30 pretty consistent. Which is a little strange because normally you get a little better than I do. Although you have more of a hate. Oh, that's why I'm still, even though I'm not running like Active Sky or anything, it's still, SkyMax is still drawing the clouds though.
Oh.
Because I've got more pockets of clouds than what I'm seeing on you have.
Yeah, I'm in the soup right now.
What is that red thing? Oh no, that's the Smart Copilot thing. Okay.
Yeah, I can move that out of the way. That's kind of an annoying spot.
I just saw the red dot on the side in the windshield, and I thought, well, is that another plane? What is that? I guess I should tune in the frequency here to announce as we get to the airport here.
Alright, we're leveling off 2300. Total IMC. Alright, so when should we start making the turn here? We're almost to the ball.
Well, I would say let's go about another 20 miles before we start our 180-degree turn.
Okay.
And this heading should be nice that a standard return will probably bring us. We might overshoot it a bit. It's a little hard to tell here on just by doing a two-finger line on the tablet, but I think we should be okay. So I'll tell you when to turn, or at least when I would suggest you turn. I think we're overspeeding.
Yeah, I noticed that. We're going to pull back a little bit here.
A little more of that jerkiness to the outside. So that's interesting. It's smoothed out when you did that before, but it seems to be better.
I wonder if it has to do with weather or anything.
It might. It seems to be a little bit intermittent, so. But, you know, I'm not flying, so it's not a big thing for just as a passenger kind of thing, or as an observer. So what you'll see, at least on this side, on the VOR indicator, you'll see the needle will center and then it will go to the other side. And now we're going to get, so then we'll go past it and then we'll come back. So that should be
yeah, because I'm showing right now we're like about 3 miles off track for the magenta line for Archon. So if we go about another, 15 miles or so here, do the 180 and go and just intercept it direct Archon, we should be just fine.
okay. That sounds good.
And at that point, we'll see if the GTN will follow it, and I'll just be prepared to take over if it don't.
It is made abundantly clear on the chart that radar is not available in this area. It's on the sectional itself.
Well, I guess we've still got about 15 miles to go. We could speed up quite a bit here. Go from going too fast to going too slow. So you about ready to start the turn?
Well, we're only parallel with that Archon now.
So you want to go further out all the way to like Uval and then come in?
Yeah, why don't we go out? Okay, why don't we go out till the needle centers on my side here, which will give us, basically then we'll be on that radial. So if we make that turn, by the time we get straight, we should be, almost at that Archon then.
Okay.
And then once you do that and start that turn, then I'll move the course to the 163, which will be our point for Archon. So as you can see here now, we're 20 miles on the DME, so we've got about 4 miles to make that turn.
Yeah, I'm showing 20.1 right now.
Yeah. The needle's starting to move slightly, so our turn will be starting here shortly.
What are you showing us speed on the DME? I'm only showing 17 knots.
Well, it's going from 0 up to about 34 or something. It's doing a weird... You're talking about the very right number, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's stopping about 24. Okay, we can start our turn. We just intercepted the radio. Okay, the radial is now set for Archon.
Okay.
By the ATIS here.
Well, I just dropped down to like 14 frames.
Is it because of the ATIS?
No, I don't know. I think it's because of these clouds.
Okay, so I don't know if it's coming through on your side. I'm not hearing it, but I see it. 070 at 14, 800 overcast, visibility 8 miles, -8, dew point -10, 3013. So altimeter is set. Both sides.
Yeah, I didn't get it on my side. It's probably because I need to enable that default ATIS and disable it and enable it again.
But yeah,
but I'll take your word for it.
Okay, so we basically just crossed the radial where our UVol was, so and we're just a little over 16, so we're continuing heading right a little bit. And we should, continue on this heading, we should intercept Archon.
Yep, the GTN seems to be following it. I'm closely monitoring it.
Dead Horse traffic, King Air, November 21 Kilo Alpha is on the ILS for runway 06, and we are doing circle to land the DME ARC. We are now at Arcane. Dead Horse traffic.
Well, the GTN certainly got the distance perfect. And look at that, here we're just about hitting that point.
Yeah, and it's exactly 16 miles.
So now between this and the next, it'd be interesting if it flies at a bit of a circle or just a straight line. Let's see if it keeps the 16. I think it probably
Well,
will.
it's telling me as an advisory down there to fly an arc to 254 degrees, so I think it's going to fly the arc.
Okay, I'm setting the radio for 184 for the next.
Uh-oh, now I'm getting a bunch of master warning cautions. What's going on here?
Well, yeah, my everything just quit. I thought I went like I was looking down at the gauges. It was like it went into this.
It ran out of fuel. It fuel starved itself. It's something when we connect and disconnect. It's like not keeping the right fuel.
Let's go into Xplane and add some fuel.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna pause for a second. Hit pause.
Paused on my side just when you did that, so that's perfect.
Yeah, so for future reference, we're just gonna have to remember to triple check fuel.
So I wonder when it connects, like, does it just arbitrarily pick a low number, or what does it do? Maybe you added fuel and I should have added the same amount, probably. That was probably the problem.
Probably.
But see, when we connect, if I've got fuel, then it should be taking whatever. you're doing. Yeah, I'm showing like 660 pounds of fuel.
Well, I just added fuel.
Gear indicates up.
Pull up,
500 feet to minimums.
if it's possible.
200 feet to minimums. 100 feet to minimums.
Oh, I think they started. Oh, maybe not.
Alright, engine's restarted. Now I'm just climbing back up to 2300.
Nice. Mine are still freewheeling, so I don't know if that's not sinking, but it's fine. It's still flying, so I'm not worried about it.
I guess every time we do this, we learn something new.
Yeah.
I managed to stay on the arc the whole time, though. I just didn't hold the altitude.
My HSI is not like it's there, but there's no needle showing, so that may have messed things up. I'm not sure, but hopefully I can still make a radio call.
Yeah, I've still got some like trim warning lights and stuff that it's not letting me address, so I'm just gonna fly it. I think we'll be alright.
Yeah. Yeah, and all my displays went blank now again, so I think my engines probably didn't restart, yours did.
Probably. What's the ILS frequency?
109.3. I'm going to make a radio call, see if you end up hearing me over the frequency.
Dead Horse Traffic King Air, November 21 Kilo Alpha on the 16 mile DME arc for ILS 06. We're about to turn to capture the localizer. Dead Horse Traffic.
Did that come through at all?
5 by 5.
Yeah. You know what probably messed up our fuel was doing that ready to take off. We did that a couple of times because of the problems we had. That probably reset the fuel.
Yeah. We'll just have to triple check it next time.
QNH adjusted.
Alright, turning right 057 to intercept the localizer. We are still in the soup. Gears coming down.
Well, that part is still working on this. It looked from the outside, just looks like I don't have the right filter, and the props are just spinning slowly.
First notch of flaps coming down.
Well, that's interesting. I went outside, came back in, and my HSI and that is back indicating.
That's interesting. I don't think our flaps are coming down.
Exteriorly, I'm not showing them going down.
Yeah, it's the lever comes down, but they're not indicating on the gauge. Like something's messed up here. So this will be a no flap landing.
I have the report.
I'm still in the soup.
Dead horse traffic, King Air 21 Kilo Alpha on the ILS runway 06, 10 mile final at this point. Dead horse traffic.
Still in the soup. We've got the localizer waiting on the glide slope.
Okay, the intercept point at 1600 is coming up in 2 miles.
And that's to be at 1600, right?
Affirmative.
Alright, we should make that.
And we're still on the glide slope, so even if we were a little high, is not a problem. But the needle is slowly coming down even as we're descending, so we should have a nice intercept.
I hope so. I can't see nothing out the window.
Okay, 1600 and glide slope is coming in.
I still haven't caught no glide slope.
Okay, so it didn't catch it. You're going to have to fly it by hand. Because are you seeing your diamond is way below?
I'm not even getting the diamond.
Oh, I'm getting the diamond. Okay, we're about over the runway now. So I guess we're going around.
Well, I show 3 miles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you probably make it then.
1,000 feet to minimums. 500 feet to minimums. 200 feet to minimums. 100 feet to minimums.
There we go.
Hold on to your pants, Captain.
Good night. This view is different from this seat. $250 to minimums. I see one red, one white. I see two white, 150 to minimums.
We're landing.
feet. 50 feet. Props full. Positive rate.
I showed 539, but yours looks like it's 3 something, so it's much better.
303.
It was pretty jerky on landing, even though I was getting like 60 frames. It was just because of the Copilot.
Yeah,
But
that's
it was
just
online,
that
not
Smart
just-
Copilot thing. So, like, I think we're just gonna have to make sure that everything we do is linked or set the same before we connect, so we don't have that problem anymore.
The interesting thing was the first time our comms should have been set the same because everything is usually set off. So I don't know why that gave us a problem to begin with, but reconnecting seemed to solve that.
And the other weird thing is I have no rudders. Like I'm sitting here dancing on the pedals and they're not even moving.
But I've got
Disconnect. Is it moving with me dancing on the pedals?
no, but if I move it, it's moving. How about? Is
Okay.
it moving now? For you?
No. Disconnect from your Smart Copilot real quick.
It disconnected.
I still have no rudders, so I wonder what that is. That happened to me once before in this plane.
Yeah, maybe that was one of the issues we were having.
I thought on takeoff I didn't have rudder authority. That makes sense now. Alright, well I'm going to go ahead and stop the stream here and we'll call that one good and we'll do some further testing before our next flight.
Yes.